Good evening and a very warm welcome to your evening news package with Television Tonga News. Making headlines, Their Majesty's King Tupou VI and Queen Tupou had an audience with the British monarch. Government provides 400,000 pa'anga for free different sports events, and Honourable Anaseni Tupou attended a program on children-centered climate change adaptation. These and more stories later on in this bulletin. I'm Fatai Whenga with your news for tonight. Their Majesty's King Tupou VI and Queen Tupou had an audience with the British monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, last evening, local time at the Buckingham Palace in London. Information from the Royal Correspondent website of London reports that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II was pleased to greet and meet the King and Queen of Tonga. Before an audience with Queen Elizabeth, King Tupou VI and Queen Tupou met with the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester on Tuesday. Their Majesties are in the UK as part of preparations for King Tupou VI's coronation in 2015. Their Majesties are expected to return to Tonga at the end of the month. Tongan government provides 400,000 pa'anga for free different sports events. The funds are delegated as assistance to the National Rugby Union team Ikaletahi, the National Rugby League team Matema Tonga, and Tonga sports team for the Winter Olympic Games to be held in Russia. Kalisiti Onuku has the details.
The Honourable Minister of Internal Affairs, Lord Vaya, revealed the government assistance after it was approved by Cabinet this morning. Cabinet has agreed to delegate 250,000 pa'anga for the Matema Tonga squad to help in their preparation to join the Rugby League World Cup held in the UK towards the end of the month. 100,000 pa'anga will go to the Ikaletahi team and 50,000 pa'anga is delegated to the Tongan team preparing for the Winter Olympic Games. The total amount of the fund is 400,000 pa'anga. Lord Vaya says the fund provided is not the full amount of initial monetary assistance requested by the various sports team. The initial request submitted from this sports team was for 1 million pa'anga, but the government could only afford to approve almost half of what they asked for. The funds approved will help with the allowance of the Tongan players for both Matema Tonga squad and the Ikaletahi team. Meanwhile, the Ikaletahi team will leave next month on the Europe tour, while the Matema Tonga team leave next week for the Rugby League World Cup 2013 in England as well.
Honourable Anaseni Tupou attended a program on children-centered climate change adaptation. This was held at the Alonga Centre this morning. The program educates children with disabilities on how to minimize the effects of climate change and natural disasters. Anasi Whanakauno was there and filed this report.
A special workshop is held for children and people with disabilities. The children-centered climate change helps them better understand about climate change and what to do if a disaster strikes. This is during the program of teaching the pupils and the children of the nation the importance of tree planting. Participants are people from the Alonga Centre, Ofatuimu Amanaki, and students from the GPS Bear. Also during the program, the guest of honour, Honourable Anaseni Fustua, planted a heilala tree at the Alonga Centre and named it Anaseni Tupou VI's heilala tree. This is to show her full support on tree planting, which is one of the minimizing the effects of natural disaster and climate change. From the Ministry of Agriculture, Food, Forestry and Fisheries, Daniela Hoponoa says it's important to teach children and others with disabilities on ways they can help minimize the effects of climate change. This program is very special because it shows the support from the royal family with the attendance of Honourable Tupou VI. She also sets good example to the country by tree planting to combat the negative effects of climate change. Meanwhile, the project manager of 4CA, Naatayala, says that it is important to educate the children while they're still young so they can become a habit with them. The workshop also serves a platform for everyone here to share their experiences and idea on the issue. In our culture, you can't be outspoken or speak your mind about an issue. In this program, we're encouraging them to share their thoughts and ideas. Lavinia Sardini from Dalonga Centre stressed the importance of the program for the members of the centre. We've learned so many things from this training, knowing what to do when a disaster occurs, especially a tsunami. We also have plans in place to help us know what to do in times of disasters and to follow them. The one-week program will end this Sunday with a prayer service. This program is currently funded by the AusAid. For Television Tonga News, I am Anasiu Falekaono.
The Freedom of Information Policy 2012 bans the media and any individual from disseminating information or news stories that will affect the religious faith of others. This was revealed by the Director of the Ministry of Information and Communications, Paula Ma'o, to Television Tonga News today. Sin Latu tells you more.
A concern was raised by Tupou People's Representative Number 9, Falisi Tupou, in Parliament from people in his constituency over programs broadcast by media which contradicts or attacks their doctrines and beliefs. The Member of Parliament also said in a radio and televised program, there is an FM radio station and a television station which belittles or defames other religious beliefs and doctrines. The concern is raised because there are Christian stations which broadcast sermons which slanders other religious faiths, such as the Catholic or Mormon religions. These people should remember that the 1875 Constitution is still effective up until today, and so is Article 5, which stresses the freedom of belief. Therefore, anyone and everyone should be free to choose whatever faith they want to believe in. The Director of the Ministry of Information and Communication, Paula Ma'o, says the Freedom of Information policy was passed last year and all media outlets must follow the regulations. This concern has been raised to our ministry before. We've spoken with the manager of Dulos Broadcasting Network about his programs to speak only about their own doctrines and beliefs and not anyone else's. Meanwhile, the manager of Dulos Broadcasting Network, Barry Daugolo, says the content of their programs do not affect anyone. The truth is, we are not slandering or attacking other religious beliefs. Everything we say is straight from the Bible, which is the Word of God. People's Representative Number 9 insists that something be done about the matter.
The police magistrate has raised concern over an increasing number of assault cases appearing in the magistrate court at Fasimoeafi. A total of 19 cases appeared in the magistrate court this morning. 17 of those cases were for assault. Of the 17 assault cases in the magistrate court, 2 pleaded not guilty, while the rest pleaded guilty to the charges.
Most of these cases were domestic violence related, where husbands had assaulted their wives, or one assault case was for a wife who had assaulted her husband. Other assault cases were between various neighbors. The case regarding a wife who had assaulted her husband was due to the husband trying to reconcile with her. In delivering the ruling against the accused in the assault cases, magistrate released them and warned them to be on good behavior for 6 months to 1 year. Magistrate Duakalau says the decision made is because many of the spouses agreed to reconcile, while others agreed to make amends with their neighbors. He also sternly advised the accused to appreciate when the spouses or the victims forgive them for the assault. He also called for families to live in peace in order to minimize the threat of assault cases appearing in court. Penalty for assault is 5,000 ba'anga and a separate compensation penalty of another 5,000 ba'anga.
Tonga Red Cross Society reviews legal and policy framework for international disaster response. The 2-day workshop looks at foreign aid given to Tonga during a disaster that is appropriate. Anasiu Falekano was there and filed this report.
The national workshop is on strengthening the legal and policy framework for international disaster response in the Kingdom of Tonga. Tonga Red Cross Secretary General Sione Tamoefolau used a foreign aid to Tupou after the tsunami as an example. Donations were from overseas countries like New Zealand, which included blankets for Tupou. This was not really needed as Tupou is warm all the time. This is why it's important to hold a meeting so we can look at things which are most needed in times of natural disaster. A legal researcher for the International Red Cross Society, Rosamond Bing, says they are drafting policies on foreign aid to Tonga. She will present a final report for the government of Tonga next week.
So it's really focused on how do we ask for assistance to our foreign partners and our foreign friends, and when they do come to help us, how do we regulate and facilitate their engagement in the kingdom. The Tongan law and policies appear to be very sound in terms of when we have to go and seek assistance and when they come in country. Now, I think the key issues we're trying to clarify with the stakeholders is how does it work on the ground? How do we practically operate the law on the ground, and especially during a disaster when everyone is committed to all different types of priorities and everyone's focused efforts on other issues.
A participant in the workshop, Papiloa Foliaki from the Dr. Supileo Foliaki Foundation and the Tonga Community Development Trust, says this workshop aims to help everyone, including people with disabilities. The Tonga Red Cross Society has helped with other training we held previously for non-government sectors. We will provide similar training to benefit the nation, church and the people. The workshop also highlights the importance of Tonga Red Cross working with its stakeholders when disaster strikes. It was officially opened by the acting Prime Minister, Samuel Waibulu, yesterday and ended today. Participants were representatives from government departments and non-government organizations. For Television Tonga News, I am Anasiu Falegaono.
A senior police officer had pleaded not guilty in a magistrate court at Fasimayafi this morning. Lolesio Hausia has been charged for alleged assault and disturbance. He has been suspended from work for more than a month while investigation continues into the charges laid against him.
Lolesio Hausia has been accused of assaulting Viliami Fatafehi. The incident occurred August 23rd this year at Maufanga. The senior police officer has also been accused of disturbance for using abusive language. The case has been delayed to next Friday as the prosecutor could not produce any witnesses in court. Magistrate Simloni Tuakalau gave a court order to bring in the 3 witnesses. They are Viliami Fatafehi, Eliesa Kitake Aho, and Noah Vakalahi. Hausia's legal counsel, Sione Etika, stressed the importance for the trial to begin in order to know the verdict, as his client has been suspended from work without pay for some time. Magistrate replied that this is the last time they will delay for the trial until next week, and if no witnesses or evidence is produced, the defendant can be released. Meanwhile, the police commissioner says a separate investigation is made regarding Lolesio Hausia on a separate matter.
More and more people are becoming aware of the risk and threats of breast cancer. The remarks were made from the government's Women's Affairs Division, which says this is a result of getting information out to people about breast cancer. Linda Filiai tells you more.
These are representatives from the government and non-government organization showing their support for breast cancer by wearing pink. A senior officer from the Ministry of Women's Affairs, Luisa Tupou, says more people are responding to the call and activities held to mark the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. More women are responding to calls to go to the hospital for a checkup in order to minimize the risk of breast cancer. This information is also delivered through the Talanomai program. We try to reach all women, especially those who are scared to get a checkup, and encourage them to do so. A pink luncheon will be held tomorrow and a pink prayer services on Sunday. They are just some of the activities held to support the trial. The awareness activities are held to make people better understand the significance. Sometimes a normal checkups give early detection and you can treat it early. This saves a lot of lives. This is why we need the support of people, government and non-government organizations. We can save a lot of life from early detection. Several workplaces are also wearing pink and making donations to support the initiatives.
The magistrate court has reached an agreement with the Ministry of Fisheries to return more than 2,000 sea cucumbers to the ocean. These are different types of sea cucumbers which were confiscated from 10 people who are accused of illegally harvesting sea cucumber. Of the 10 accused people, 8 are Tongan and 2 are Asians. The sea cucumbers were confiscated from Halaleva, Patangata and other areas on Wednesday this week. Some of the accused are released on bail and will appear in court next Monday. During this time, they are not permitted to leave Tupou. The Ministry of Health staff continue to benefit from an exchange staff program with the St. John of God Ballarat Hospital in Victoria, Australia. This exchange program has been ongoing for more than 20 years, benefiting nurses, doctors, administration officers and other staff members at the Health Ministry. A special program was held this morning at the Health Department to mark the tribe. Sinlato was there and filed this report.
The Director of Health, Dr. Siale Akauola, and the Chief Executive Officer of St. John of God Hospital, Michael Craig, signed for an extension of the twinning program between the two hospitals. They have signed this program to continue for another 2 years, and that is an exchange between staff of the Viola Hospital and the St. John of God Hospital in Australia. The program coordinator, Walter Harrell, says the program aims to equip Tongan staff with more skills and knowledge.
The main purpose of this twinning program or the staff exchange is to upgrade the knowledge and skills of the current staff in the Ministry of Health. Actually, there are 2 lots for twice a year, so that's pretty much 8 staff exchange in 1 year per year.
The CEO of the Australian hospital, Michael Craig, says they are dedicated to helping others.
And we have a very strong commitment to supporting others, and that's what we do. And so for us, it's a key part of what we do is supporting other communities and other cultures. So we support a number of different programs, but for Ballarat, this one's particularly important, and this is one of the first programs anywhere, is our partnership with Tonga. So for us, it's one of the things that is a part of what we do.
Under the program, staff from the St. John of God Ballarat Hospital will come to Viola Hospital for 2 weeks, while staff from Viola Hospital spends a month at the St. John of God Hospital. The program is funded by AusAid. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sinilato.
The amount of rain recorded in Nuku'alofa has exceeded the average rainfall reported for the month of October. Reports from the Tonga Meteorological Office says 121 millimetres of rainfall was recorded in the past 24 hours. The normal average of the rainfall recorded previously for October was 91 millimetres. Several areas in Nuku'alofa experienced some flooding last evening. The Met Office adds that 84 millimetres of rainfall was recorded in Whamotu, 51 in Vava'o and 30 in Hapai. Meanwhile, a drop in showers lie across Tonga. And that's the local news. Sports is up next with Pia Olie.
In sport, the Matepa Tongan team this afternoon held a special audience with His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Tupou Aulukalala. Upon arrival to the royal residence of Liukawa, His Highness Talking Chief Wakalahi welcomed the team. He says there is a hope that it's not their final visit to the royal family. Wakalahi also invited the team to pay another visit to the monarch when they return from the World Cup to show the spirit of Mate Tonga or Tai for Tonga. Television Tonga Sports News understand that the team stood and stopped prior they were the audience with the Crown Prince. They were only in sporting gears instead of wearing the traditional outfit. This is part of the Mate Tonga team scheduled program during their short visit to the kingdom before heading to the Rugby World Cup for the 2013 in the United Kingdom. And that's Sports News.
And here's a look at the latest weather forecast for this evening. Situation a trough with associated cloud and showers lies moving over Tonga. Forecast to be night tomorrow for Tonga, light to moderate south to southeast winds, mostly clouded with a few brief light showers, clearing later today about Tapanewa. Showers continuing over the Niuas, Vavau and Hapai, with some heavy falls at times, easing later this evening. Temperature forecast Manukalofa for tonight, minimum of 18 degrees Celsius for tonight. And the Marine Weather Bulletin, south to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, poor visibility in areas of heavy rain about Vavau and Hapai waters, moderate to rough seas, a moderate southwest swell. And that's the latest weather, wrapping up this evening's news package. But before we part, here's a final look at today's top stories. Their Majesties King Tupou VI and Queen Anaspao had an audience with the British monarch. Government provides 400,000 paanga for 3 different sports events, and Honourable Anaseni Tupou Holafustoa attended a program on children-centred climate change adaptation. And that's the top news for today. But before we part, mind you that you can get details of these news items, some of the stories, by calling us on 23556. Check out our website or join us on our Facebook page on Radio Television Tonga. Thanks for watching. Have a pleasant weekend. I'm Fatai Fenga.